Hey guys. So today I am finally going to be doing a 6-foot terrarium tour. This video does get requested all the time, but I've been putting it off for 2 reasons, if I'm gonna be quite honest. Reason number 1, I am terrible with the names of the plants I have in here. I know already that there's a whole bunch I don't know the name of, so I'll do my best to find the names of them and put it on screen if I'm able to, but if not, I'm so sorry. Please help me out and anyone looking for plant IDs from what I have in this case in the comments if you know what something is. Like, if you know what a plant is, maybe put the timestamp for where that plant is and ID it. That would be super, super helpful to me and others who are on the hunt for the plants I mention in this video that I have in my terrarium. And then the second reason is you guys, I have been meaning to take everything out of the terrarium and clean it up, clean the glass, like deep clean it, kind of start fresh with it. And I just have not gotten around to it. So there are plants in here that are very, very sad, just not doing well. There are plants that are outgrowing it. There's just kind of a lot going on. And yeah, it's a little bit a lot, you know, a little bit a lot. That has kind of put me off from wanting to do the video because I know it's not in like the most beautiful, ideal situation right now. I'm just gonna be honest with you and show you it how it is now, how it actually has been for months now. So for the most part, the plants in here have been doing really, really awesome and do well, but there are also plants in here that just are not doing well for whatever reason. I don't know the reason. I don't know the reason. Oh wow, that one's really beautiful. Okay, I'm excited to show you some of these. But before we get into my 6-foot terrarium tour, here is a quick 45 seconds about today's sponsor. Huge thank you to Skillshare for making this video possible. Skillshare, in my opinion, is one of the best ways to invest in ourselves and our learning because Skillshare is a great way to learn about new interests, hobbies, skills. They have so many classes on many, many different topics. One of the courses I've previously taken that I highly, highly recommend is called Finding Fulfillment Using Pivots to Power Your Creative Career, taught by Emma Gannon. Seriously, if you're a creative or working to build a side hustle, I strongly, strongly recommend trying this course. I think there's a lot to be learned and it kind of changed my perspective on what I've been doing here on YouTube. It's a great place to start if you're not sure which direction you want to go with learning on Skillshare, but you definitely want to start. And in fact, now is a great time to get started on Skillshare because Skillshare is offering the first 1,000 of you to click the link in my description box, a free 1-month trial so that you can get going, you know, learn about some new things. And that link will be down in the description box as well as pinned to the top of the comments. So definitely head down there and take advantage of Skillshare's generous offer. There really is something for everybody. So with all of that being said, let's get into the tour. Okay, so here is a bit of a top view. So nice and beautiful. This is where I use this as a table and do a lot of different plant projects on here. I film in front of it for most of my videos. Well, okay, maybe not most of my videos, but a lot of my videos. And yeah, I really love it. Okay, so let's open her up and we'll start at the left side, looking at some plants. Okay. So back here in the corner, we have a philodendron Jose Buono, which doesn't have too much variegation, but it has a little bit of speckling. I was hoping that by putting it in here, it would get a bit more of the speckling, but it doesn't look like it has. Next to that, we have a philodendron. What are you? White Knight or White Princess. And I love it. This was grown from a single little node in here. You can see the node right there. I'll put a little arrow to it so you can see, but it has thrived. It's doing really well, really beautiful. It loves living in here. Here we have a little Begonia malachosticta, just kind of a leaf on a stem, a sad little plant. This is actually a propagation because I did have a full version of this plant and then out of nowhere, it just kind of melted and died. So I took a leaf, I took a little bit of the stem, stuck it in here, and here's what we're left with. This is a type of Monstera. I'm not entirely sure, I always forget. I did actually recently chop it up to propagate, but you could see there's a little new growth point there and a little new growth point there. I love this terrarium. It's basically just like a glorified propagation box. Everything grows so fast because the humidity is really high. So I love putting plants in here that I eventually want to propagate, you know, because they just grow so quickly. Okay, next to that we have a philodendron rugosum. The leaves are getting huge. Here's my hand comparison. So it is getting quite big. For a while after putting it in here, it did kind of struggle. It took a while to start growing, but now that it's been in here for a while, I'm assuming it's acclimated itself a little bit more. It is growing a lot more quickly with a lot more robust growth. And yeah, I just had to show you a little close up of that rugosum texture that we all know and love. And look, its aerial root is grabbing onto the side. Love to see it. Okay, so this plant right here is a Begonia melanoblata. This is the newest leaf. It was kind of sad for a while and now it's doing well. I mean, you can see there's like a dead leaf there that fell off of it for some reason, but yeah, yay, it's finally growing. I'm so happy because I love those little chocolate chips, little chalky chips, you know? Here we have a Begonia austro-vietnamica, which is just a little tiny baby because it completely died back, and instead of doing anything about it, I just left it there to its own devices and it has kind of grown back. But what's weird is there is also a little, another Vietnamica plant growing right here. This leaf probably fell off of that plant and it's rooting. And look, has a little baby right there. So that's pretty cool. I love, this is one of my favorite begonia, by the way. I think it's really beautiful. Okay, here is my largest begonia in my collection. It is a Begonia erectocarpa. I love it because it has these spots on it, grows obviously really big and pretty easily. I just think it's really beautiful, and it is by far the biggest plant in here. Okay, in front of that we have another begonia. What is this one? I'm really bad at this. Good thing I have name tags on half of these. This is a begonia letestal. I don't know, but it's really cute. I got this one because I love the little oval shaped leaves. Like most begonias have this kind of a shaped leaf, but I thought these little oval guys were super cute. Another one I propagate a lot. And in front of that, I have a philodendron fibrosum, which if you guys remember from last year, I got a single leaf cutting from heart-shaped leaves. It's grown into this. I also have a few propagations I've taken from it. This plant is really cool because it gets these hairy stems, which is kind of what sets it apart, but also of course the foliage is beautiful. But yeah, I find that this plant loves my grow tent and this terrarium. It does really well. Here we have a Begonia ignita, I think. Oh no, a Begonia species affinis mendume. Not doing awesome, kind of melting. I don't know what's going on with it, kind of weird. It's just kind of there and I don't really love this one. I don't know why I got it. Here we have a little strawberry shake philodendron growing very slowly. And next to that we have a Begonia feryx, which, would you look at that? Here's the feryx. It also has little like warty chocolate chip type things. Definitely not as pronounced as the melanoblata, but still really cool. Kind of reminds me of a toad. It for sure looks like a toad. Here we have this blooming Begonia negrosensis. So the thing about these kind of pink begonias is when they're smaller, they do have a lot of the pink spots on them. Same goes for the Julau, but as they age, the spots kind of fade away, which is a little unfortunate, but I love this plant. I thought it was going to be really difficult, and it definitely has not been. You can see it's blooming here, and then this is only half of the plant, so I'll show you the second half later. But right here, we have a Begonia U664, just a little small one. I do have a larger one of this in my grow tent also, and I really like it. I like the light colored foliage. I don't know, it just really stands out from the color of other plants in here, if you know what I mean, if that makes sense. At the very back, we have an Epipremnum amplyssimum. I know in my last video I referred to this as a philodendron. That was just totally a brain fart. I know it's an Epipremnum, but this is actually one of my favorite plants. I think it's really cute. I love the long feather-shaped leaves and then the little silver stripes it gets. So pretty, grows well. Highly recommend if you are able to snag that one up. Okay, so this is a Begonia chlorosticta. It's the green form. Really pretty, love it, has some stuff on it. And yeah, you can see that is the cup it started out in. This is the size of leaves it had in the beginning, and it has just grown wild. So they're like bigger than my hand at this point. This is one of my favorite begonia. I think it's so pretty, and in a terrarium type environment, they're super, super easy. They just like a lot of high humidity. So yeah, ain't she purty? I'd say. Okay, right here is my Anthurium cuticuense, which if you remember a while back, somebody just sent to me at random and I have no idea where it came from. It was not in great shape and I have been trying to revive it. So far it has just put out a new leaf and then killed a leaf off, but it's alive, so I consider that a win for now. One day I'm hoping I'll be able to get it to thrive. So if you have any experience with these, please let me know your trick. I would love to know. I want it to thrive. I want it to thrive, but I'm content with it being alive for now. Right next to that, we have another little philodendron strawberry shake propagation. Isn't it cute? Both of my shakes are really small. They grow really slow in my experience. I know a lot of people like really, really love these, but I'm truthfully, not a super fan. I don't know, they just grow really slow. All right, so in the back here, we have another Monstera variety, which I also cut back. No new growth point on that one yet, but you can see the roots are growing wild there in that cup. But you can see the roots are growing wild there in that cup. I will put the name on screen because I cannot remember. Next to that, we have, oh, this is the big plant. Okay, so that Malachosticta came from this one right here. And I thought this had died completely back, but I guess not. And look at how beautiful that new leaf is here. Wow, that's so pretty. This is a very easy begonia in my experience, I guess, because like I said, I thought this had died and it just kind of grew back on its own. I took that cutting thinking that this one was not going to come back, but guess what? It did, and it's lovely as ever. All right, so here we have an Alocasia dragon scale, or an Alocasia dragon scale, really pretty, which, okay, I'm confused. What is this? I have no idea what this is. It has this brown rotten stuff on the tip. I don't know what it's doing. Can somebody help me? What is that? It's on a stem. Like it's part of the plant. I have no idea. Kind of freaks me out. What is going on? If any of you have any experience with these, let me know. I'm scared. It's like a little alien thing or something. I don't know. Okay, here we have it's kind of taking over. It's this whole section here, like this plant, this one. This is another one of my favorite begonias. It is a Soli mutata, and as you can see, very, very easy. Oh, there's a dead leaf. Just ignore that. It's okay. Plants get dead leaves, you know. Soli mutata, very easy, just kind of takes off. So this was a small plant when I got it, and clearly it has grown. Oh my gosh, look at all the cute little babies down there. Wow, very, very easy. I love the texture on this and the coloration. It's so stark and beautiful. I love a good contrast. And this one actually blooms quite a bit. So these are the blooms for the Soli mutata. Yeah, isn't it pretty? Soli mutata. You guys, I'm balancing. Look, okay, let me show you. This video is for sure gonna suck because I'm actually balancing the lid on my head because I don't have the thing to hold it open and I don't want it to fall on my head again. So I'll just set it on my head because then it can't fall on my head. Is that some logic or what? I think that's some pretty good logic. If this video seems a little terrible, that's why, because I am balancing this with my head, trying to remember all of this stuff and hold the camera and point to things. So ignore me and my terrible YouTube skills. Okay, so here is the second half of that begonia negrosensis. You can see the leaves are super dark green with the pink contrast, and then as it matures, it gets less and less of that, but you know what, it's fine. I did cut this back to propagate. Not as difficult as I thought. Okay, just in front of that, we have a Monstera adansonii. This is actually a reverted variegated one. These revert so bad in my experience, but that is just my experience. It's probably something I'm doing. And yeah, it's just completely green. There's not even a variegated leaf left because it started to revert. I decided to chop it up, and so far I haven't been able to get the variegation back. So I don't know, but it's still pretty. I love a good adansonii. And next to that, we have the sad little piper, which I have no idea what this one is, but it is, when it's healthy, it is very like sheeny, like it has a really beautiful sheen and little pink spots on it, and the leaves are heart-shaped. It's so cute. Right now mine is not cute, but I recently moved it into here hoping it would revive. We'll see what happens with that. And next to that, we have Philodendron glorious. I want to say this is a Gloriosa melanochrysum hybrid. The leaves are so beautiful. Mine is getting a new leaf, and I have chopped this plant up a lot. You can see the node right there that I've chopped back many, many times, and it just keeps growing back. Okay, next to that we have a Syngonium frosted heart, one of my all-time faves, and this is actually one of the first Syngonium I ever got. It is from Arium Botanicals, and I've chopped it again many, many times, also getting a new leaf, and I love it. I think it's absolutely beautiful. There is not a thing I don't like about this variety. So if you're a Syngonium lover, or if you're dabbling in the world of Syngonium, this is a variety I highly, highly recommend. I just think it's extremely beautiful. All right, so across the way from this sea, this field of Begonia solimutata, we have a, what is this called? This is hurting my head, so I got a towel to go like this. Oh, that is so much better. Hi guys, that is so much better. Wow, problem solver A+. Okay, let me get you so I can show you some plants. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is a Syngonium of some sort. I know the name of this, maybe like Trio Star, Tri-Star, something like that. I want to say star is in the name, totally be wrong by that, but for sure the correct name will be on screen. It'll come to me. I don't know why I'm pulling a blank on that right now. And next to that we have a Begonia picturata, which is so beautiful. It struggled for a long while. Since it's been in here, it's put out these three beautiful, beautiful leaves. So they start out a lot lighter colored, and then as they age, they get a little bit darker and turn a little more blue tinted, but I think it's really, really pretty, and the leaves are actually fuzzy. I really like this begonia. I don't think it's super easy. Oh my gosh, look, it's getting a new leaf right there, that little pink thing. I don't think it's a very easy variety, but that's just me. It's probably just me. It'll probably be easy for you. And right in front of that, we have Ryan's Begonia amphioxus, which if you remember, he was gifted a little single leaf cutting, not even a rooted cutting from Botanicas, and this is what it has grown into. So really, really pretty. It has done not well for a long time, and then now well since I've moved it in here. So this is kind of where I'll move plants if they're struggling a little bit. And yeah, usually it's the kickstart. They need to start doing well, and then they'll do fine once I move them somewhere else. The leaves are already getting really long. That's cool. Onward. I have no idea what this was. Some type of begonia for sure. And next to that begonia, we have this, which at one point was / is kind of a begonia Julau. So it was doing really well. It used to have a whole bunch of leaves on it, and for some reason, they've all just dropped off now. And it just has this going on up top. So I don't know what happened, but it's for sure gonna grow back and it'll be just fine. I could chop up the stem and get more plants. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that in a video or something, show you how to propagate begonia plants from start to finish. I'm not a super expert though on begonia by any means. In fact, I'm a super novice to begonia, but if that's a video you'd like to see, let me know. We could get quite a few plants out of that. And then right here, we have a Begonia Cleopatra, I think this is called. This is another one of my favorite begonias, and actually probably the begonia that made me love begonias, because I find this one to be so, so easy. It is a bit more of a waxy type one, like the leaves are super thick and well, not super thick, but for a begonia, they're pretty thick and waxy. There's a new leaf. So it is a lot easier. The fuzzier ones seem to be a little more difficult than the waxy ones in my experience, but that may just be me again. And yeah, I love this plant. It also is kind of taking over. I've taken many cuttings from this, and yeah, I love it a lot. And then right here, we have this begonia, which I don't super love. I kind of don't know what's going on with it. It grows really compactly. I mean, it's okay, it's healthy clearly because it's growing so much, but for some reason, the leaves just aren't looking too hot. Like all of them have these brown rings around the edges. I don't know why. If you know why that could be happening, let me know, but it's still growing, so I'm like not too concerned about it. Maybe I'm gonna cut this up and just start fresh with like a smaller plant to see if I can get it back to its former glory, which it's never really had a former glory here. What is this called? Begonia aurantiflora. I'm so glad I have ID tags on these still. You know, that was a smart move of me to leave the ID tags in there. I know myself. I know that I don't know begonia. I kind of skipped over this with the Julau, but this is a blue oil fern. This was a gift to me from DHP Nursery in Hawaii. They sent this to me, which was really, really nice, and it surprisingly has grown. It kind of didn't do anything for a while, but now it is. And I was really worried I was going to kill it, but it is growing. So I am quite pleased. I love it a lot. This plant means a lot to me because that was very, very nice of them to send over. And in front of that, we have a variegated Monstera Peru, which I've also cut this plant up a lot. This is one of the top cuttings from my mother plant. And the rest of it has been chopped into little baby plants. So one day they will hopefully be available for sale on the foliage fixed, although it grows pretty slow in my experience. Oh, this new leaf is not variegated. That's a little nerve-wracking, but we'll see what happens because this one is quite lovely. Anyway, okay, here we have my mother Monstera obliqua, which has some brown tips, but I'm not worried about it because it keeps shooting out growth. Oh, it has a new growth point. I did cut this up for a video. And yeah, you'll see that video hopefully soon, but I don't know, we'll see. It'll be a few months probably. But there is the new growth point, and it actually did decide to do a leaf instead of a runner, so we will have a new leaf. Back here we have a Syngonium wendlandii, which for some reason, it's all kind of yellowing except for the top couple leaves. So we'll see what happens. It did just warm up where I live, so I wonder if the change in temperature kind of caused that, and now this new growth, now that the new growth is kind of acclimated to the new temperature and new amount of light outside, since it's no longer dark and dreary winter, if it'll start growing back better, we will see. I'll keep you posted. And here we have a begonia. Here we have what was once a begonia, Darth Vaderiana, I want to say. This is kind of the same story as the Julau. It grew very, very, very tall and dropped all of its leaves, and it just kind of has this half leaf up top. I'm hoping it'll come back. We'll see what happens. Maybe with all of these plants that I'm struggling with, like the Julau and that one and all of them that are kind of discoloring, maybe it has to do with the temperature change in my house, and then also maybe the light change, because although this is a terrarium with like the LED lights, there is still a south window in this room. So this whole thing does get light from that window. The window is covered with a curtain right now because of my lighting. So yeah, maybe that's just making it a little bit too much for some of the plants. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is kind of an exciting story. I do not know what this is called, but if you guys remember the first time I went to visit Botanicas, they gave me a single leaf begonia. It didn't have roots or anything. The leaf was probably this big. This is what it turned into. Look at how big these leaves are compared to my hand. So big. It is now about to bloom. I was really nervous I wouldn't be able to root it because it was like my first time ever attempting to root a begonia. And what I love about this one, like the colors on the leaves are pretty. The circular shape is really pretty, of course, but if you look super closely, there are little hot pink fibers, like hair-like things all over the leaves. The new one has kind of a lot of them. Yeah, it's just really cool, and I'm proud of myself. This plant has come a long way and it's grown a lot under my care. I've propagated it a lot, and I genuinely was so nervous because I thought I was gonna kill it. So I don't know, this one makes me happy, honestly, just mostly because I'm proud of myself. And in front of that, we have a Syngonium rayi, whatever. Doing really well, growing lots. I love that plant. No idea what this is or was. Sorry, I couldn't tell you. But next to that, we have a Homalomena, which was also a gift when I bought what plant did I buy? My tricolor. Yes, I think it was my Syngonium tricolor. The seller gifted this to me. Yes, I love it. Really, really love it. So cute. And here we have a painted lady propagation. which is really pretty. And I'm actually going to keep this for myself because I don't want to chop it up anymore. I love this plant. Is another one. I'm going to move it back here actually. I think it'll like it there better, but this is actually Ryan's plant. It is a begonia. What is the name of this begonia? It's going to drive me crazy because I know the name. It'll come to me like as I'm editing and I'll put it on screen, but for some reason I'm pulling a blank again. Okay, it is sad. It is so sad. Many leaves have died on this plant, but that new leaf is looking awesome. So maybe I shouldn't have moved it. Oh well, it is what it is. It's already moved now. Fingers crossed that comes back. But again, this one is Ryan's plant and he had it in his terrarium, but he kind of kept forgetting to add water to the terrarium or check on it or make sure it wasn't getting too much light. So it kind of died a lot. And I'm trying to rescue it. I think I'm doing a good job. We'll see. I don't know. Kind of looking scraggly and sparse and sad, but I promise I just chopped this one up like last week. So there was so much plant to it and I cut it like almost completely back, which is why it's looking a little sparse right now. It'll grow back. It is very healthy and happy in here. And next to that, we have a Scindapsus Silver Lady, which is one of my favorite varieties of Scindapsus. So if you're able to snag one of these, highly recommend. I have them. I occasionally have them available on the foliage fix, but they grow really, really slowly, so it's kind of frustrating. Here we have another painted lady. This one's not as highly variegated. Another Syngonium Frosted Heart. Here we have the Three Kings or Jade Syngonium, which is lovely. Would you look at that variegation? It's kind of cool. Splotchy, beautiful little thing. Wow. Wow, look at this new leaf. Wow, I love it. And it's growing. This is the best it's ever grown for me. Isn't it weird how sometimes Syngonium do that? They'll like be really weak and flimsy and then all of a sudden they just like take off and I don't know, the stem gets really bulky and it gets a lot of aerial roots. It's kind of cool. And then the last plant we have in here is a Philodendron subhastatum, which is another one I've recently propagated, but you can see this whole thing is new growth. And what I love about this plant is the underside is really deep red. So that's kind of what this plant is known for. And look at that aerial root taken off. Really cool. Okay, those are all the plants in my terrarium. What do you think? I love it. Like I said, it looks really, really messy in here because it is. Plants are taking over. I need to kind of start fresh with a whole bunch of these. Yeah, so keep a watch on the foliage fix. I post updates on when I'm selling plants on Instagram at the foliage fix. Watch there if you'd like any of these plants because I'm frequently chopping these up and I am going to start fresh with a whole bunch of these, so they will be propagated soon. Stay tuned. Oh. Okay. My head hurts from holding that up and I'm probably gonna have a new bald spot. I'm already balding because of postpartum hormones. I'm at the 6-month postpartum period where my hormones are, you know, I don't know, they're doing some things and it made me lose all my hair a few months ago and it's just barely getting to the end point. And now that I rubbed my head on the top of that terrarium lid for so long, I'm probably gonna get another bald spot. It's fine, it's fine. Hyperventilates. Okay, where was I? That is it for this terrarium tour. Again, if you know the IDs of any of the plants I forget, thank you for sharing with us because I have no idea. And it's sometimes really hard for me to be able to find IDs on plants because I'm like on Google, like begonia plant with spots. And then there's like a ton of begonia plants with spots, you know? So yeah, moral of the story, thank you so much in advance for your help in IDing the plants that I'm not sure what they are. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next one.